Hello, everybody. I started watching you last you saw me. Actually, only about an hour and a half ago. I'm doing a little talk on loving for FreeBSD. I'm also doing a little crowd work. I'll walk on that aisle, to engage all of you. So I hope you guys are ready to answer questions, ask some questions, engage my presentation here. So thank you for coming. Let's get on with it. So here's our agenda. Someone say what the first thing is. Someone want to read that out to the class.
What is low-hanging fruit?
Great. You got the second point. Anybody? Dan? Second point?
Where is that?
Great. Garrett, third point. Low-hanging fruit on FreeBSD. Well, that same name has the title of presentation. That's actually cool. Devin, what's going on the board here? No, that's it. Sorry, we don't do that computer on the class. Yeah, how we do it. All right. So that's our agenda. I don't have a who am I slide this time, so let's get right into it. Low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit is it's a thing or person that can be won, obtained, or persuaded with little effort, according to the Oxford Dictionary here. So, how does that really apply to cybersecurity or red teaming? Anybody got any ideas? Ronan, you got anything? How does low-hanging fruit relate to red teaming?
Yeah.
What you got?
It's like stuff that is really easy to find and you should probably find.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Well, in terms of people, it's just they're the people that you just convince them to give you anything you need.
True. So it doesn't mean anything like that. What you gonna say?
Being able to defend things based on how likely you think people want to find it.
All right, that's an idea too. Yeah. Alrighty. In cybersecurity and X is red teaming. I think low-hanging fruit is things that we as red team expect and want blue teamers to find. These could be easy TTPs. These could be very obvious things. Hopefully, these are things that they are going to find and put in their IR reports. However, they are not always found and remediated. I went through all the RITSEC reports, and a lot of teams did not find all low-hanging fruit. It's kind of sad. But also, it works for us because it's still us to easy things for us to deploy, easy ways for us to get into systems. So yay for that, but also these are very obvious things. What do you guys think some obvious things for horror low-hanging fruit could be? Jesse, what's a low-hanging fruit kind of thing? What you got? Exactly. Users are one of the most obvious things. I believe in most looking back, you have a list of users. Those are the people that should be on the box, and also who shouldn't be there. So when you see a little user called Momo, or Chase K, or Mav, or not Red Team, those probably shouldn't be there. In the packet, they're a Red Team user. So as a blue teamer, you should get rid of them. So. We're gonna get away from fruit for a second. We'll talk about TTPs. TTP stands for what? Keto. Alright, tactics, techniques, and procedures. So MITRE, well, not MITRE yet, but this is there a laser pointer?
Yeah.
How do I really use it? It's not button? Alright, it's not a word, I can't see it. No, a word?
It's hard to see on
the. Yeah, alright. Anyway, so with the caption thing, that's into it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I moved the whole stream box.
Oh hell no!
All right. It's still fine.
Well, the screen.
It's fine in here.
It's fine in here.
All right. Did everybody know what the first step in the attack life cycle is? It's obscured by the captions. Is the stream messed up? Real bad?
No, we're fixing
No,
it.
it's fine.
Okay, great.
You're
Don't
good.
keep it.
He just
All right.
moved
So
it right
initial
back to
recon. So who
Just
gets
tryna
that?
keep
That's
it
1,000
Just keep it
Good
nice.
job.
We'll move it once we finish.
Initial recon really means
Oh, it's fine.
figuring out
He
who
put it
your
back.
target is, figuring out what you want to get out of your target.
Okay, he scared me.
So once you have your target and your goal, you can then figure out how you're going to get in. So initial recon is maybe doing some slow nmap scans. Maybe you're seeing what the physical company building looks like, some security guard, whatever. Thank you for that. And then, you get your initial compromise, initial foothold, and you do the cycle, the attack life cycle here, where you start by estimating privileges, doing some more reconnaissance, moving laterally, making persistence, and you keep pivoting until you get to where you want to be, and that's the attack life cycle. So, the next slide here is my attack framework. Picture is terrible. If you go to stackoffminder.com, or you'll get a large list of TTPs that MITRE has designated like common that they see in lots of like different attack vectors. They see ATPs use those, they see professional red teams, professional pen testing teams use those. So this is also a great place to go if you like a cool idea for a red team or you just want to learn some more stuff. All these TTPs are wonderful. We don't use all of them in red team, but a lot of good stuff on there. So to create our low-hanging fruit kits that we want to deploy so the blue teamers can find things and learn from them and be successful as a blue teamer, we want to pick TTPs that should be used to detect and remediate. So someone give me an example. Alexi, what's an example of a TTP that'd be easy to find and remediate? Yeah, cron job. Lucas, what do you think? Yeah, you said user accounts and admin accounts. Leah, what you got? Alright, cool. Random guy in there?
I'm gonna go on a leg and say login banners.
Crazy. Ash, what you got in the back? Any other ideas about what would be like good low-hanging fruit?
All I can think of is
That's a really good idea. So these are obviously good Linux focused, but all of these have they have their counterparts in Windows that I cannot speak with authority about, but the technique works for both Linux and Windows and networking and FreeBSD. So these are all of our low-hanging fruit TTPs. Let's talk about what they mean. So before we do that, we'll talk about what we deployed in what I wrote for our low fruit kit for FreeBSD. So I wrote some stuff to add users, wrote some stuff to add SSH keys, wrote some stuff to enable RSH. Everyone know what RSH is? All right, yeah, neither do I. Set up some INET-D services, set up some profiles for SH, TCSH, set up some cron jobs, install Telnet, and put some banners on things to say funny things to blue teamers. Yes, question.
Is RSH RBAM?
No, it actually stands for remote shell. It's a predecessor to SSH, and we'll talk about that in 3 slides. So users, the way you add users and make that a low-hanging fruit thing is you just add users to the system, make them admin accounts, and then you set the password to some sneaky red team password that blue teamers don't know, can't find out. This is a really simple thing to do in Ansible, which we're going to go over momentarily. But it's remediated by identifying non-standard users on the box. Then you would disable the accounts. And as a pro red team tip here for your IR reports, and also not to make our team upset, disable the accounts. Don't delete them. If you delete something and you didn't write it down, you want to go back and you want to do IR later, I'm going to have any evidence that it existed in the first place. So disable the account. That way it can't be used. We still have evidence of it for your IR report later. All right, SSH keys. The way you run this is you just add SSH keys to users. Everyone know what SSH key auth is? This is kind of like a good tie-in to Ash's presentation about cryptography. You can create private and public key pairs for SSH, and then you would drop the public key pair on the user account that you want to be able to access, and you use your private key, which you keep secure on your box, that matches with the public key that you dropped on the user to do the authentication, and bada bing, bada boom, it works. It's amazing. Yeah, with that dream, with Red Team, we drop SSH keys on all the users pretty much everywhere. Drop them on root, drop them on the Red Team users, drop them on the standard users. This can be remediated by finding the authorized keys file for every user and checking it. If you don't recognize the key, you didn't make it, get rid of it.
don't need it. I mean, document it for our report, but delete it. Make sure it can't be used, and you've locked down the account. RSH stands for Remote Shell. It also works with our login. The way it works is there's like a host.allow file and host.i file, and then you would specify who, like the username, and then like the IP address. And if the request to log in doesn't match the username, doesn't do anything. If it doesn't match, if it does match the username but it doesn't match the IP address, deny it. It's very, very old. It's a predecessor to SSH. But it runs on port 47, and when I was poking around FreeBSD trying to get some stuff cooking for RITSEC last semester, I found this and I was like, huh, that'd be really cool. It didn't work, so that was really sad. But it's still in my low fruit kit. Maybe one day I'll get it to work, but I think it's part of the old internet now. Anyways, iNet services. So on FreeBSD, the way they map services to ports, something to them called iNet. There's a nice file called etc inetd, and that's what it looks like. You specify the name of the thing, what the type of connection is, like stream TCP, what's it supposed to do. I don't really know what the no-wait thing is, but like the user that it's gonna have privileges for, the binary to execute, and then the command, the command to run. So that's what the inetd file looks like. You can change any one of these things. So yeah. Because I was a bit naive in the beginning, I thought that FreeBSD equaled pfSense and they were one and the same. So when I ran my low fruit kit for FreeBSD on pfSense, this part didn't work. And I was like, what's up with that? So then I went and I tried to go edit the inetd file on pfSense, and it said file does not exist. And I was like, that's real sad. Maybe a bit upset. I got around it though. Anyways, profiles. You guys know what bash profiles are? Let me explain what one is to me. Casey, you know what a bash profile is? Yeah. So bash profiles is a place where you can put things that should get run every time a bash instance is started. So there's user level bash profiles and there's system wide bash profiles. It's etc bash.profile or bash profile.rc, something like that. And then there's bash rc in the .bash rc in the every user's home directory, and you can put little commands that you want to run every time that the bash profile, the bash has been started, which is a great way to have persistence on a Linux box. So the same concept exists for CSH or TCSH, whatever your shell is, on FreeBSD. So you can do the same stuff. What I like to do with that is flush the firewalls, enable my users, do some other nefarious things. I got a question?
So, is it more whenever you create a user and you set their path, the /user and you put that
Not really. If in the home directory for the user, there will be a file called .bash_rc. There'll also be one called .bash_profile. And both of those will get sourced, which means they'll get ran when the bash terminal is started for that user. And so every time that program gets ran, if a one-off command in there that this can execute something for you that's positive, that's good. Does that make sense? Alright, cool. So you can fix this by finding the profile location files and inspecting them. Generally, anything that you add to it will be appended to the end of the file. So if you find it and it doesn't look right, then get rid of it. Cron tabs are what? Anybody? Brian, you know what cron tab is? Exactly. Scheduled tasks on Linux. So you can run it at a specific time, like at 3 p.m. today, I want to high five Chase. That could be my cron tab. Or I could do every 10 minutes, I'm gonna fist bump Lucas. Those are examples of cron tabs. A good resource for making your cron tabs is crontab.guru. As I use that all the time whenever I'm making cron tabs because I don't remember the syntax and how to make things right. And it'll parse it and tell you what it's going to do. And then you'll be like, that's exactly what I wanted, or it wasn't. And then you fix it and you move on. It's great. This is I would call it a low-hanging fruit place because it's kind of like Etsy cron tab is the one place. And then like there are user level and system level cron tabs. So let's check them all and you can find all this stuff. One of my favorite cron tabs is the flush firewall rules. So if a blue teamer spends like 15 minutes making firewall rules, my cron tab comes in every half hour, just like flush, goodbye, and it's wonderful. Makes you smile. Except for when we're trying to red board, and then my firewall rules are putting service back up, and that's tough. But anyways, telnet. Let me know what telnet is. Raina's nodding like she knows what it is.
I kind of know.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's kind of like SSH, but it's less secure.
Yeah, it's all done over plain text, and I don't remember if it's authenticated or not, but yeah, it's also a predecessor to SSH, and it's very fun. There's actually a telnet server out there with some domain, I forget what it is, but you can connect to it, and then it'll play A New Hope in your terminal, like the entire movie in ASCII art. So if you're ever bored, like just put that up. It's a good time. Yeah, you can remediate this by just checking running services and checking the open ports, not bots. It runs on port 23. It's a great time. Somebody's cooking up a telnet C2 at the moment. So if you're in a red team, if you're in a blue team at UV Lockdown on 420, then look out for that. And then lastly, we got banners, login banners, SSH banners, message of the day, quote of the day. These are just fun places to put little tidbits for routers to read every time they log into their shell. And why shouldn't we send them little inspirational messages like, we're just looking out for them? I mean, usually it's a little bit threatening, I think. Like for RITSEC, we said, this box is owned by the mafia, don't change it or else we're going to take your kneecaps. And that was fun. But yeah, banners is another like those low-hanging fruit. We don't really get any value out of it because it's literally just like a text file that gets printed out to the terminal. But I do think it's just fun to engage in some slight trolling and I don't know, remind them that we're still here, you know. And you can fix this if you really want to by changing the message of the day, like find the banner locations. Fun tangent time. A long time ago, I believe it was DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation, which no longer exists. But they had a banner on the login that said, "Welcome to DEC," and then somebody hacked them. And in the resulting court case, he argued that he was invited into the computer because the welcome banner said, "Welcome to DEC." And subsequently after that court case, they changed all their message to say, like, "Do not touch if you're not a DEC employee, otherwise you will be sued," and like all this like legal crap. So, yeah, that's a little like story about like what does it mean to have like authorized access and all that good stuff. So demo time. I'm gonna share the Ansible that I wrote that went over all this stuff. I will not be running it because some of it doesn't work. I also don't have a box to test on. So bear with me for 1 second while I pop open Ansible. Lovely. All right, so here we are in Ansible. This is our role. Hope you guys have learned what Ansible is since the last time I demoed some Ansible. If not, we'll start with our main.yaml file under our tasks folder here. In this main.yaml, I'm just calling all my other Ansible files that I wrote. So we'll start with add users. This one, pretty simple. We just use the built-in user directive in Ansible, and then we iterate over our list of red team users, and we add it, and we give them the name, the shell, we want the user to be there so the state is present. We add it to we add it to the groups, which we want wheel, so we want admin on FreeBSD. And then we don't create a home directory because we don't want blue teamers to find these. So, and then we try to set the UID to 0, which means that we're also root. I'm pretty sure that in this version that doesn't work because UID 0 is already taken by root, and they yelled at me. I had to fix it somewhere else. But that's our user Ansible here. Our next one, go back to main, is add keys. This one's also pretty simple. We just use the POSIX authorized key Ansible to just drop our key in everybody's authorized key file, and it looks very simple, works very well. These little quotes and then double brackets means I'm using data templating. This user's variables defined in the group bars file that I'm not showing you guys right now. I just like that on the screen. And then so is the SSH keys. Those are both lists, and I just kind of iterate over the lists, and it's a wonderful time. The with item thing populates the item directive, like that item variable every time I'm on the Ansible. That'll make sense. Cool. Then let's look at banners. So really, this is just copying over files. Here's like the last message I had was Mafia owns this machine. Unauthorized access will be punished by removal of kneecaps. So we just print these out in the terminal, and then the blue teamers are like, what? And then I laugh, and it's great. So yeah, we copy over the message of the day, copy over the quotes file, so that every time you pop up in the thing, you get some inspirational quote. It's actually just inspirational nonsense from Red Team. Copy over the SSH banner, so every time you SSH into the box, you get a nice little banner from Red Team. And then in order to update that SSH banner, we have to restart, so we handle the restart and all that good stuff. Then here's our cron job. Right now we're just flushing the firewall rules every 5 minutes, and we put that on every single user. It's a wonderful time. With iNet, we're doing a lot of line replacement here. So first thing we do is we enable FTP, enable SSH, enable Telnet. This is where I tried to enable RSH and our login. Didn't quite work. Enabled quote D, and away we were. So that's a lot of line and file kind of replacement stuff, where I copied the file from the original file, changed one line, one character, and put it back in there so that it'd be enabled, just to automate the process. With profiles, it's another way to execute the code. So you throw in the lines that we want to add there, and those are the file locations: csh.cshrc, csh login, and csh log out. So that's all we're really doing there. So it's flushing firewall rules, and then adding the user Momo. Another pro tip for the blue teamers: if you ever see any references to Madagascar, it's Red Team. It's 100% Red Team. And then finally, we have the services. So this is when I was trying to do some funky stuff with the Etsy services thing. I tried to add a Red Team shell on port 6069. That was just gonna be a little bin bash, so I could get connect to the port, get a shell, real simple. I was gonna enable the echo thing, which is just supposed to just echo back whatever you send to it. Then I was also going to change that binary that was going to run so that it was going to be my bin bash, so I could get a shell that way too. And the same thing with the Cisco FNA shell. But unfortunately, this doesn't really work on pfSense because they got rid of these files. But there we are. So that's the low fruit kit that I wrote for FreeBSD. So what do you guys learn today? Will, what's something that you learned? Thank you. Appreciate that. Garrett, what do you learn today? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Alrighty. So yeah, that's the low fruit kit. Hope you guys learned something. Thank you for coming to my presentation.